Hi, Ryan here from AMB. Today we're going to take a look at the 2023 Specialized Levo SL 2. This is Specialized's second iteration of the Turbo Levo SL. It is their lightweight offering, not to be confused with the Turbo Levo, and it uses their new 1.2 motor. You might see some similarities with the Stump Jumper Evo, and you'd be correct. The previous SL that we tested was very, very similar with almost identical geometry to the previous Stump Jumper. The Turbo Levo SL version 2 has the same geometry as a Stump Jumper Evo. One of the things that we criticized on the previous SL was that the forks were a little bit short and a little bit undergunned for the bike. And it's really nice to see that the Specialized is now spec'd with a Fox 36, which is a really good pairing for an e-bike. Still a very lightweight package. It's still got the 1.2 motor in there. It's much lighter than a normal Levo, but it is much more aggressive and progressive geometry. So let's take a look at the geometry of the SL2. When you take a closer look, you can see it is identical to a Stumpy Evo. It's a super popular bike, it's super playful. It's spec'd as a mullet across the board, 27.5 rear, 29 front. We've got 160 mils of travel up front, thanks to the Fox 36 with a grip damper. And out back we have probably the most popular shock size, a 210 by 55. It offers 150 mils of travel, and that is through the Fox Float X performance on the back. It's really nice to see that there's no proprietary suspension or parts on this bike. It uses lots of fruit, all standard sizes. It's really good to see from Specialized. The head angle is 65 degrees or just under, and it can be slackened or steepened by a whole degree using an adjustable headset cup, which is already incorporated into the frame. You don't have to buy an angle set. You can just flip it around and run it 1 mil slacker or steeper either way. It also has adjustable bottom bracket height. Uses a nice neat little flip chip like a lot of the Specialized models do. And that will increase or decrease the head angle by a further ½ degree and also raise or lower the bottom bracket height by 5 mil. It also has an adjustable flip chip on the chainstay located down here. It's a 29 or 27.5 sort of location, so you can increase or decrease the length of the bike. And the overall wheelbase on this is right on the, I'd say, conservative side. It's like a 1238 mil wheelbase, so still very flickable, but still stable at speed, which is really nice on an e-bike. It's still easy to get around turns. Our size S4, which is like the equivalent of a large, is paired with 170 cranks, so a little bit longer than a normal e-bike. It's a bit more of a bike, and a 170 dropper, which is nice. There's a really good standover and ample room to have a long drop and adjust it up and down as well. So how does the SL2 differ to the first iteration? Well, first of all, it's got a new motor. We really liked the 1.1 motor. It was super quiet. It was one of the first lightweight bikes that we ever saw. It was really nice to ride. It was so quiet, and it had 35 Newton meters of torque. The 1.2 motor, again made by Specialized themselves, is heaps quieter. Heaps. It has 50 Newton meters of torque, which is a 43% increase, and it also has 320 watts of power, which is 33% over the old 240 watt motor. It's so silent on the trail. Specialized have done an awesome job getting that sort of whirring noise, quietening it down. It's really dampened and it's super noticeable. I've spent a lot of time riding this bike with people who haven't even noticed that I've been on an e-bike. Riding it in off or in eco, it's super quiet. It doesn't really look like an e-bike. People don't really notice, and there's no drag. So this motor is really, really nice. It's very, very usable on the trail. The pickup is instantaneous. You don't even notice when it sort of cuts in and out. And when you get up to that 27K mark, the power sort of rolls off nicely and doesn't sort of just stop at the end. So in terms of rideability and livability, it's really nice to ride. It's just amplifying your own legs, not, you know, this big burly motor in the back. Taking a look at the battery, it's a 320 watt-hour battery. It will provide us in turbo anywhere between about 5 to maybe 700 or 800 vertical meters of climbing. Kind of relates to a bit over an hour of like solid up, which has been really good. In eco, we managed to get just under 2,000 meters of vertical climbing, which, you know, that's a solid like 2.5 hours of riding in eco. It's really nice. It was still enough assistance. Obviously the bike is only just over 18 kilos, so eco is more than adequate. There's a lot of range there. The battery can be extended with the range extender as well, which is a further 160 watt hours, and it gives another like 50% life as well. So you're probably adding a couple of 100 meters vert in turbo, and you're probably adding about 500 to 800 meters of vert if you were riding it in eco. Or you could just ride it off like I've done quite a few times and lasts for ages. The internal 320 watt hour battery can be removed, but the motor does need to be taken out in order to do so. The charge port itself is charged really nicely. All the turbo levos and Canevos really well sealed. The whole unit itself is impervious to water. We've had absolutely no issues in some pretty adverse conditions and very cold conditions over the last couple of months. And we're really happy with the way that the motor has performed. Specialized are offering 6 sizes with the Levo SL. We've got the S4. The S1 runs a little bit less suspension, so it's got 150 up front and 144 out the rear. The rest of the sizes are 160 and 150. It goes right up to an S6, which is like a double XL. It's huge. We have the SL Comp here, which is a carbon frame. There's also an Expert, a Pro, an S-Works, and an S-Works LTD model available. So this comp model is 11,900, and it goes right up to a full flight attendant, full T-type transmission, S-Works Limited, which is 22,500. So huge range of bikes for all types of riders. So the SL Comp that we have here, it's spec'd with SRAM's GX 12-speed Eagle, Code RS brakes, which are super powerful, 200 mil rotors front and rear. We've already taken a look at the Fox 36 and Float X on the rear. It's got a really nice X Fusion 170 mil drop for our size large. It's paired with Specialized's own 780 mil bar and a 40 mil stem. It also includes one of our favorite gadgets, Specialized SWAT steerer multi-tool. Means you can make adjustments to the bike on the fly really easily. And this has been a great package. The brakes perform really well. The 12 speed works really nicely, even under load. And the 170 mil cranks, given it has a slightly higher bottom bracket, have been really nice. Our Levo SL Comp is spec'd with Roval's aluminium Traverse wheels. They've stood up really, really well, and part of the reason is it's also equipped with proper casing tyres. So it's got an eliminator grid out the back in the trail casing, which has been quite robust, and it's got a butcher up the front with the nice T9 soft compound rubber as well. They've stood up really well. We've noticed a couple of wet spots and a bit of sealant, but no flats and no real dents in the rims either, which is quite nice. How does the Levo SL climb? It climbs really well. The motor is so quiet and there's so little drag that I actually think it climbs quite well off as well. In the turbo mode, the default setting is 100% assistance and 80% power. It fizzles out a little bit at the end, but I guess when you're comparing it to a full powered e-bike, of course it's going to offer less assistance. It climbs really well. Obviously suspension's FSR linkage is very, very active. So it does bob a little bit when you're pedaling, but it's really cancelled out by the fact that you have a motor. And it is quite torquey. It's a lot torqueier than the old model. It has 15 extra Newton meters. And yeah, I think it climbs really, really well. It's a nice platform to stand on and the motor is just seamless. I think Specialized do a fantastic job with making the motor just feel super intuitive. It doesn't cut in and out. It's there when you need it and not there when you don't. Descends really nicely. I like that this bike feels just like a Stumpy Evo. It honestly doesn't feel like there's a motor or battery there. It's only maybe 1.5 kilos, maybe just under 2 kilos heavier than a Stumpy Evo. And you know, if you take the bottle off, you don't really notice. It feels like a Stumpy Evo, and I think that is probably the key takeaway with the Levo SL2, is the fact that it just feels like a normal bike. It's really nice to ride, very well mannered, and I think the mullet setup is perfect for something like this. Often e-bikes are a little bit hard to maneuver. They don't like changing direction as much as a normal bike, and having a smaller 27.5 rear wheel makes it change direction a lot easier. One thing we have noticed with descending, especially with flat pedals that we've got on at the moment, it does have a little bit of pedal kickback. It's not bad, but it is noticeable. You do notice when you're going over like successive hits on flat pedals that it does bounce you a little bit. It's not something we even noticed when we had clips on this bike though, so some people might notice, some people might not, but it is definitely worth noting. I also really like the way the handlebar controller is so ergonomic. I toggle through the modes quite a lot, probably as much as I use the dropper post. And now with this new Mastermind TCU, you can adjust the bike's assistance by 10% in increments. So I find I toggle through those a little bit with this bar mount, and the position that it is really nice. It's a lot more ergonomic than a lot of other e-bike manufacturers. All in all, the Levo SL2 performs just like a really nice handling bike with a super lightweight motor and battery to go along with it. I think Specialized have done a fantastic job, and all of our little quirks and criticisms that we had over the old SL have been addressed. It's burlier, it's more capable, it's more progressive, the geometry is more modern, and the new 1.2 motor is absolutely fantastic, and it's way quieter. Thanks very much for watching Australian Mountain Bike's review of the Turbo Levo SL. Make sure you like and subscribe.